So this is Thursday, November 7th, 2024. So we're sitting in August right now. So 10, 11 months or so ago, I guess 10 months back, and this was in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. I guess I was coming up on a big race that wound up being one of the best races of my life until it wasn't, until I almost died. And so I just wrote, there's a version of you that wins this race. Be him, be present, be grateful, remember your loved ones, and remember to love yourself. Great challenges equal great opportunity. Embrace all of it, every bit of it. Remember how beautiful this all is, and that beauty isn't perfect. So that was the journal entry, I think the day of or the day before that big race in Mexico. And man, I hadn't read this since I wrote it, and it's amazing how much of that played out. First of all, for a lot of the day, I was being that version of the guy. I did not win the race, but I was running at a really high level and competing with the top of the heap right there. So in a lot of ways, I did embody that. And man, I was present. I soaked up so much of that race. So we were running from Mascota, Jalisco to Puerto Vallarta. And you start out kind of in the mountains. It's, agave country there where they're making tequila and stuff like that. And then over time, over this long 100-mile journey, you are climbing a lot of mountains. There's a lot of vert in that race. And then you slowly start making your way into the jungle. Then you end up on the Pacific coast. And man, sometimes I get both happy and sad emotions when I'm going through these races because it's so remote, and it would be so hard to ever take someone you love back to these places unless they took part in the race themselves. And so you see some of these amazing, beautiful things that are just hidden out there in the world, and there are moments where I wish that I had people that I love there with me just so that they could see it, because the words really do never do it justice. That, I know that's a cliche, but it's so true. So man, I was probably the most present I had ever been in a race. A lot of times in races when I'm performing at a really high level, I kind of black out and I don't remember much of it. And when you're going on these adventures, that can be kind of a bummer sometimes, when you're like, God, I just ran across country or something like that, and I was so focused on winning and being competitive that I don't even remember any of the beautiful aspects about it. And I was very good in this race of not doing that. I was running at a high level, but in this note of loving myself, it was the nicest I had ever been to myself in a race. I just kept telling myself I would be at mile 50, mile 60, and I would say, if you feel this good at mile 50, be happy if you feel this good at mile 60. That would be a good thing. And I just kept doing it, and that rang true all day until around mile 75, 80, I took a pee, and it looked like black coffee or molasses, which is one of the early signs of rhabdo. I knew there was a problem from that point. I was still running at a high level, and a lot more ensued after that. But anyway, it brought my day to an end, but I'm still at peace with it because, man, I emptied the tank. My mindset was great. I fought hard. I ran hard. So I got a lot to be proud of for that one. And then this note, remember your loved ones. That might have saved my life because I was in podium position with under 10 miles left to go. And I went into the jungle to try and finish the race. And I just had this dreadful creeping suspicion. I went in, I had forgotten to fill my water bottles. I had made all sorts of mistakes already. But I also just had this sinking feeling that if I went out into that jungle, I wasn't coming back out of there. I knew it. And so I wound up turning around, and shortly after that, I wound up passing out and going unconscious, which is what officially ended my day. But I made the decision to turn around, not because of not because I cared about not coming out. I've lived such a full life that I really could die, and if I'm still conscious in whatever realm comes after this, I would be happy with my life. Oddly enough, I think being heartbroken after my previous relationship, long-term relationship, ended, that was real love. I think that was kind of the icing on the cake, and then some of the adventures that ensued after that, where I knew I could die then, because I had felt kind of all of the key major feelings that I felt I needed to in this life. And so now I really am living with house money, because when I look at my life currently, there's no lack. I don't feel like, well, I haven't felt or experienced that yet. And I'm sure that 50-year-old me or 60-year-old me is going to laugh at this. So hopefully this video maybe is still in existence somewhere, and they'll probably say, like, you fool, you idiot, you had so much more left to feel and experience that you hadn't yet, and you'll be so thankful when you do. But me sitting here just turning 30 a few days ago, I can honestly say that, you know, I don't so much fear dying. I want to keep living, but you know, I don't feel any lack in my life, I guess is the best way to say it. So all that to be said, when I felt that feeling of in the jungle that I wasn't going to come out of there if I kept going, I thought about my friends and family, my mom primarily, who I still gave a really big scare with this whole experience, but that's who I thought about. And you know, this note here, remember your loved ones. And when I wrote it, I thought that I was saying go and win for them, but I guess that's not what I meant. What I meant is remember them and respect them and make decisions based on your love for them. And that's what it did. My you know, love primarily for my mom there is probably what saved my life, because if I had gone unconscious in that jungle, I don't know if anyone would have found me. The fog was so thick. We were still high at elevation, so you're in the clouds. You can't see your hand in front of your face. It was probably about 10 o'clock at night, so it's pitch black. It would have been trouble. So remembering my loved ones might have very well saved my life there. Because with rhabdo, you need immediate IVs and medical attention after that, or you can be in some trouble. Be grateful. That's another note. And I hope that comes through with this video here. I'm so grateful for that race and that experience. I've made so many amazing friends from that race too. It's funny, I've won and performed really well at some races and just been dominant and ran my best, and you think that's what's going to get you all the love, blah, blah. And it's funny, that race going how it did, I left there with more friends than any other race I've ever attended. Alyssa Clark, her husband Cody, John Rudolph, and some other friends from Colorado. My friend Charles, Frenchman, that I had met at some other races, but man, we really got close through that race as well. Reed Burrows, man, I could list off so many people from that race in Mexico. And a lot of it was rallying around each other because they had seen me running hard and competing hard all day. You know, and then they heard how that ended, and they rallied around me with a lot of love, because I think they knew that race meant a lot to me, and I was right there. And whatever, the chips didn't fall my way that day, but I came away with it with a lot of friends, which is awesome. Sometimes you don't know what God or the universe, the world, life, whatever, what it has in store for you. So don't think too hard about wins or losses. So you don't know what the plan is for you or where you're going. There may be no plan to any of this. I try and look at life a lot like a sunset, and we're just here to observe it. And man, sometimes those sunsets are really beautiful, and that was one with a lot of color. There might have been some rain or something at some points, but it ended up being a beautiful, colorful sunset of a life experience there. Great challenges equal great opportunity. That's just something you can always remember in life. If something scares you a little, you probably got opportunity knocking there. Embrace all of it. I had a moment at the start of the race, taking a knee, just humbling myself before what I was about to do. And I had told myself in that moment that I accepted whatever my fate was going to be in that race, and I stand by that. Remember how beautiful this all is, and that beauty isn't perfect. Well, damn it if I didn't sum it all up before I ever took a freaking step onto the course. So that was pretty cool. I haven't read any of this since the race, and man, this was pretty cool for me. I don't care if this video gets freaking one view because I like felt weird about starting to do this. And it turns out that went a long way for me. So I hope I said something of any freaking value in there. And if not, whatever, maybe I needed to just look back at it and rant. I'll end it with, man, I haven't opened this. My mom got me this book here, The Pivot Year. I think it's pretty popular. And I haven't opened it up in a while. I was enjoying reading it. So I figured, I guess I'll end off with kind of what I'm looking to get back into reading. I love books that are just short little passages that you can open up to, read a quick little blurb of, and then get back to what you were doing. That's the style of book that this is. And so yeah, The Pivot Year, check it out. And like I've said in some other videos, I'm working on a book right now too, but it might be a while. So I'm not trying to push it or anything like that. Who knows if it'll ever be a thing. I think I'm just living the book right now, and maybe it'll be structured and put together in the future. I do write a lot, but anyway, y'all have a great day. I can shut the hell up now. But yeah, hope your life is filled with a lot of love and beautiful things, and that can take different shapes for all of you, but I truly wish every single person out there the best, and thanks for taking 15 minutes. This one was longer than expected.